up. That's going to be interesting to see and see how it goes. Regardless to say, I am not bullish out there in the markets for at least quite a bit. So I'm not saying, oh, we can't bullish day trade, but as far as long-term scenarios concerned, I'm not looking to add anything new to my portfolio just yet. I see that we're live on YouTube. Good morning, YouTube land. I am so very sorry. We got in a little tiny bit late. Let me just fix this. Sorry. Okay, there we go. All right. Okay, awesome. Moving on. So if YouTube has any questions, comments, please feel free to type it in. I will be able to track it. So anyway, so I'm tracking the VIX, which is pretty cool. It's close to 40. We're at 33 right now. Lots of interesting tickers out there today, guys. Lots of interesting tickers, believe me. Here is SPY on the hourly chart, which kind of looks interesting to me. So as far as I'm concerned, SPY, if we were to do a wave count on this, I would say this would be a 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, and a 5 on an hourly basis. And then this would be our ABC correction. So as soon as we make a new low, I think I'd be looking for longs. And we may not even make, I don't know if we're going to make a brand new low or we're just going to hover around this territory. But I would love a pullback at open, and then we can look for some longs up ahead. At least to the 20 EMA on the daily, on the hourly, or we go fill some of these gaps, or we come close to these gaps at 367. I know it seems kind of like the day that we're not going to, it's a day before we're going to have the Fed minutes and some CPI numbers and all of that. So it's kind of scary, and the longs are going to be skeptical. But with that being said, majority of this volume in the previous few days is from the shorts. So if we think about it, and if some shorts want to close out their positions, we all know what happens when shorts close out their positions. We go higher. So with that being said, I think I'm looking for some long moves today if we get the chance to play it. If not, I will certainly be on the lookout for some short plays as well. Just depending on what the market gives us. So that's the plan so far. The Qs look exactly the same, so we're not going to go mess with the Qs too much. Overnight, on the future side of things, we tried really hard, really hard to get up there, but then the Taiwan market dropped 4%. I believe there was an earthquake there as well. And some news around it. And then China came out and said, oh, we have new COVID cases and we have the absolute zero COVID policy and all of that. So that kind of made it drop back down. But the fact that we are picking it up again is definitely reassuring. So I see this beautiful inverse head and shoulders trying to get there. The hourly looks great on the Qs right now. We just poked above the 20 EMA on the hourly chart, and then now we're kind of dipping back in again, which I don't like. I wish we'd have just held above the 20 EMA and just kind of continued on. If we look at the previous few times when this has happened, here's another scenario where we got rejected off of the 20 EMA and then we just kind of came back down. Here's another one, here's another one, here's another one, here's another one. So, if we reclaim the 20 today, that would be pretty cool for a bull run up. So we'll see which way we go. We'll see if the bulls want to step in, if the shorts want to close out. I don't think any new bulls necessarily are stepping in, but at least if the shorts want to close out their positions, I think we can definitely find some feet and get running. So I guess today it is everybody's favorite game of which way does the market go? And we'll see which way we truly decide to go. Hector says bears don't take profits, they hold. Yes, that's true. That's true. It's been, the bears have been pretty darn profitable over the past few weeks, to say the least. So I wouldn't be surprised if some of the bears want to close out their positions and be like, okay, cool, now is our chance to just calm down a little bit. with that being said, let's go look at our boy Tesla real quick. And we will come back to some of these other tickers. I just want to go through the list that I have over here. Tesla is in the gray area still. It is not out of trouble. However, if the markets want to go long, Tesla could be a fun play today. I mean, there's undeniable support in this box zone on Tesla. So there's undeniable support right over here. How cool is that, guys? Got my Jeremy drawing skills on. Look at that. Check it out. No more bad drawings. But anyway, all jokes aside, it's still in this gray area currently pre-market where it's not gapping up. I would have loved it if it gapped up above this candle, but it's not doing that. It's actually just kind of hovering around here in this zone. So we will watch Tesla and not really worry about it too much. However, I do feel like if the markets get going, this can definitely get going because it's just been a lot of selling. Again, not extremely bullish on Tesla for a long-term play. I still feel like this is a massive double top. We could come back, retest, and we have earnings coming up. So I'm not long-term investing on anything, but day trading, I think this could be pretty fun. We're pretty extended off of the 10 EMA. So we could at least come up to here, if anything. 234 is a good range on Tesla. So that's my plan on Tesla so far. That's what I'm looking at. Brandon says, with squizzles. Brandon, watch out for me, man. I'm going to be competing with my artistic skills with you soon. For YouTube land that doesn't know Brandon, Brandon is an amazing artist. So, and as far as we know, my skills are competing with my kindergartner. So anyway, moving on. Next is Nvidia on our list. Chips have been extremely, I don't know what to do with AMD and Nvidia. If you are in this long-term, guys, just hang in there, buy puts at decent times. I do feel like, once the VIX gets a little bit higher, we could see a turnaround. And if we see a turnaround in the VIX, which means the markets could go up, if we could see the volatility calm down a little bit, and that makes the markets go up a little bit, try to leg in on some puts if you are in this guy long term. If not, for day trades, I am just going to leave the chips alone because there's just extreme weakness around these guys. So we will see which way Nvidia wants to go, and it will follow the broader markets. If the broader markets want to go bearish today, then I think Nvidia will follow along, and these are obviously a lot more weaker than everything else out there. So if that happens, then these would be the short opportunities. So I'm going to reserve AMD and Nvidia for shorts if the markets want to turn around. Versus, Tesla is reserved for a long if the markets want to go bullish. So these two will go in my short basket versus my long basket. So let's see where AMD wants to go today. AMD, same exact scenario as Nvidia. AMD is at least trying. Nvidia just doesn't even want to try. It's just, it feels like it's just given up on us right now. So we'll see which way it wants to go. I can't, just looking at this chart, I can't possibly be like, yep, this looks bullish. Does not. So let's leave it alone for a little bit longer and see where we go from there. Apple is definitely at an interesting spot, if you ask me. There is this gap open on top. With that being said, Apple usually follows, the markets follow Apple more like, or Apple follows the broader markets. But yesterday, it did something different than the broader markets. It tried, right? At least it's trying. There is this level of support right here on Apple. So we'll see which way it wants to go. This is, although it looks like a green candle, it is a very low volume green candle. So it's still an indecision candle. I wouldn't be surprised if the broader markets drop, Apple will go with it and at least come back down to retest these 137 levels. So maybe a long off of here could make sense if Apple can pull back a little bit and we can put in a long opportunity over here. That makes sense. Without that, if the market's bounce right at open, then I feel like this is a good target on Apple. I'm not saying we can get there today, but if this thing wants to get going, then this can be a pretty good opportunity. I'm not, this is not a chart that gets me excited, that gets me thinking, oh my God, I definitely want to take a trade on Apple. It's very undecisive still. So it's just going to follow what the broader markets do. And we're just going to have to go with the flow on this guy too. As far as bias is concerned, I don't really have a specific bias on Apple, bullish or bearish direction right now. So we'll just keep an eye, see if there's a 3-minute 10 EMA play happening. We shall see. I see some comments. Brandon says, run for the Silicon Hills. Witchet says, I'm trying JPM long, buying at 104 and stop at 103.75. Okay, cool. Matt says, can we look at Disney? Sure, absolutely. All right, let's look at Disney real quick before we run through some of our other tickers. Disney is definitely interesting. I love this, Matt. Thank you for pointing it out. I like this a lot. It is. So just like Tesla, if I could, put a box down here, it is at a decent level of support, guys. So it's not like it's got nothing holding it up. The way I look at it is after that many bearish days in a row, if we come down to support areas, that is your place to buy, not your place to look for shorts. That is never your place to look for shorts. The move is already done and you are too late to the party. So if Disney can get a bounce today, if we can come back down. So the play that I would be looking for, Matt, is wait for it to make a new low. So go slightly below 94.32. That is my level to go long off of Disney. And if we can do that, I think, and especially if the broader markets can pull up also, I think Disney could certainly find some feet and find some ground here. It's at a decent level of support here and down in this box. So yeah, I like it for a long more than a short today, Matt, for a day trade specifically. All right, moving on, we looked at the SPY and the Qs. Let's look at Delta Airlines. I know there's some news around American Airlines. AAL is gapping up, and so Delta is going with it. I love this play a lot as well. So Delta is trying, at least, okay? And it's doing something different than the broader markets. It's not collapsing. It is definitely keeping this gap open still. So that's great. Gaps on the bottom, if we know anything about that, they act as support. So I'm glad we're not filling this gap and just collapsing down. So I would love a long play off of Delta with the markets as well. We do have a little bit of turbulence right up ahead at 30.62. So maybe if we can take that out, but honestly, guys, if we think about this, if we can come back up here, this is a 10 EMA play bullish on the daily chart. So I feel like if I had to make a move on Delta today, it would have to be bullish if the broader markets cooperated as well. And I know I find myself saying that a lot, if the broader markets cooperate, but really, honestly, everything just depends on where SPY and Qs want to head. And so we just have to play the game along with those players in mind. The SPY and the Qs, I think of them as quarterbacks. The football season's on. Not that I know anything about football, but I do know the bare basics. But if the quarterbacks are lagging and if they're not performing well, then the rest of the team players are also not going to be performing very well. So the way I look at these guys is this guy is a strong team player currently, and it's gapping up above the 10 and the 20 EMA. Extreme resistances, and we're gapping right up above it. So if I were to look for a long play, Delta would be on my #1 list. I will move it up, and we will keep an eye on this guy for sure. I'm going to skip over Amazon and Google real quick. I do want to show you guys something really cool on Lulu. So Lulu, when I was looking up earlier, it was gapping somewhere over here. So towards the top, and obviously things have changed in the last 15, 20 minutes, but they had some news. I think they're going to do some fitness classes, or I don't know what the deal is, but on their online platform, there's some stuff that's going on over there. Lulu has been comparatively, if you look at the weekly chart, compared to other retail tickers that we have, it's been fairly strong. So, you know, it doesn't look like some of the other Gaslight charts that we've looked at. So I like Lulu in the long as well, especially if it was to open like a gap and go. But it's not, I mean, it's not really, excuse me, guys, it's not really opening as a gap and go currently. But if it were to take out this bear candle, I think I'd definitely be interested in it, at least to the gap fill area, which comes out to about the 10 EMA at 301. So keep an eye on this guy. Don't fall asleep on this guy. It is one of the stronger tickers. It can get going. Then there was J&J, which has an inside candle after that many days of selling. And I really like this ticker. J&J with these tweezer bottoms. If we let go of these tweezer bottoms, we're going to go lower. I can see it in this chart, totally see it. But, and there's lots of support down here as well. But if we take it out to the bull side and it goes higher along with the broader markets, J&J could really get going to at least 162, which is pretty cool. And this is, I mean, it's Johnson & Johnson. It's not going anywhere. We're not, I mean, you know, it's one of the safer tickers comparatively to some of the other tickers. So definitely keep an eye on this guy as well. And then with news on China, I wondered what some of the other you know, Chinese tickers were doing, and Baba came to mind. And so I just kind of checked it out and looked at what it was doing. And this, my friends, it is a beautiful gap down. How cool is this gap down after this hammer candle, after that many buying days in a row? So I am going to, if the markets go short, this is my favorite one, favoriter one, if that's a word. That's not a word, I know. But this has to be one of my top most favorite one for a bear play if the markets can go down. And I mean, really, honestly, if the markets can get a pull back, it would be really, really cool at open. So if the markets get a pullback at open, and if this goes down, oh my God, that's a beautiful bear play. Just look out for one green candle and short below that at open, either on the 1 minute chart or the 3 minute chart. And this has got to be one of my favorite tickers. So Roblox, Zoom, and Meta are much important gap. Ooh, cool. I was looking at Roblox. I'm glad you said that. I was looking at Roblox as well. So Roblox, yes. So I know there was a downgrade on Meta. So we'll look at Meta as well. But I had Meta over here and I deleted it. I don't know why, but yeah, Roblox is a beautiful gap and go down. You guys, you can't miss this one. And it is on our list, so we can trade it right at open. This kid, beautiful. I mean, we could really call this triple tweezer bottoms. Technically, they're not the exact tweezer bottoms, but you know, it looks phenomenal. This is a great, great gap down. And we're breaking, you know, technically, if you think about it, we're kind of sort of breaking this whatever wedge kind of pattern that we're doing, and we're gapping right below it. So I love, love, love this gap down. Let's look at this one as well. At least down to 3150, we could certainly write it down. Let's look at it on the weekly. I'm pretty sure it's beat down, even on the weekly. Yeah. Let's take this guy short, you guys. This looks good. I like this a lot. Thank you, Thomas. I would have totally skipped over this. Let's go look at, so Roblox is also right above Baba, and then let's go look at Meta. So I don't know if you guys have been following me in the chat room lately, but I've been trading Meta quite a bit because this thing can move a lot. Really, it can move a lot and it can surprise you, honestly. So Meta broke down on this little channel that I was trying to put in, and I really thought it was a trap, but it's not. It's really, at this point, it's not a trap. So it's going lower. We all know that. And my starter position that I may want to start on Meta, at this point, I don't even want to start anything on long-term on Meta, but I don't know why this one's hated so much out there. Everyone's just hating on this guy. But if you look at it, the daily RSI is at a decent level on the daily. So, I mean, we have room to go down. That's what I mean. It's not super high, but we do have room for it to go down a little bit more. And this was an indecision candle after 3 days of buying. We kind of sort of came down a little bit, and then we tried to come up again, but it's not working out very well. So this is a beautiful gap and go as well, and we can trade this as well. So keep an eye on Meta as well. I'm going to appoint one of you guys to look at Roblox and one of you guys to look at Meta, please, in case we can't manage all of it at once. The way I am going to trade this is look for some buying to come in on the 1-minute chart or the 3-minute chart, and then short below that. I love this gap down. So let's add Meta to our list as well. And then there's Zoom, which I know was trading around 70 earlier on the pre-market, but I don't know what it's doing right now. Okay, cool. Zoom, oh my God. I mean, you would think, you know, any glimpse of COVID news, which again is not a good news at all, but you know, you would think anything related to COVID, it would sort of kind of try to go up a little bit, but no. Zoom is taking out this guy right here. Let's look at it on a weekly, see if there's anything here. On the weekly, we're gapping down here. And the next level, honestly, guys, I mean, if I were to sit there and think about this, the next level of support on weekly for Zoom is here. And we're gapping below it. We're in that range. And then comes this guy right here, 65. I mean, it blows my mind to think that Zoom could go to 65, especially after it's done something like this. This chart just is horrendous. So, you know, I mean, if you compare this to Lulu, it's different, right? There's a different aspect to it. But yes, Zoom I love for a bear play as well, if it can go down a tiny tad bit. There is some chatter going on. All right, so Thomas says target 32. Brandon, okay, BB isn't in your neighborhood. Okay, never mind. All right. Yeah, so Zoom is definitely one of the weaker ones here. I like Zoom a lot for a bear play. We'll add Zoom to our list as well. I try to come in every single day and think, okay, I'm only going to be trading 2 things today, and we're going to try this. And then even before I know, with gap downs, my ticker gets longer and longer and longer. So as you all know, I'm not the best at keeping track of 6 different tickers at once, but these gap downs, we got to trade it. Looks like the markets aren't holding up at all. And we're coming back down to below the 1 hour 10 EMA, which is not good, in my opinion. I feel like, well, although, I mean, if we make that new low, then SPY could certainly bounce. So we got to watch out the SPY and the Qs. Let's add Qs to the list here. And we will see what the Qs do on the hourly as well. If the Qs can come back down below this level, I feel like we could certainly look for some longs to go higher. Because on the hourly, the wave count is done. And we will see which way the markets want to go. I mean, you know, there's nothing saying, oh, we can't keep rolling lower. So that's not out of the question either. So we're just gonna, we have our longs and shorts in play, and we will see which way the markets want to go. All right, YouTube land, sadly, we are approaching 9:30, so we're going to have to stop this live stream, but I hope everybody has a wonderful, wonderful trading day out there. We have our long list and we have our short list. So definitely keep an eye on some of these tickers and see which way we go. I hope everybody